Before you step inside, you hear it. Not one sound, thousands, layered, alive, uncontained. The Ark does not sit quietly on the earth. It hums, it breathes, it groans under the weight of life itself. You stand outside it first, and it is far larger than you imagined, not just long, but massive in presence. A structure of wood rising against the sky, its surface darkened by pitch, sealed against what is coming. The lines are not elegant. They are functional, heavy, built for survival, not beauty. This is not a ship like the ones you've seen in paintings. It is a vessel of endurance, a container, a world, 3 levels high, hundreds of cubits long, and every inch of it has a purpose. The door stands open, and the sound pours out. You step closer. The smell hits you first, not subtle, not distant, immediate. Animals, earth, wood, moisture, life packed into space that was never meant to feel comfortable, only sufficient. You pause at the entrance, because stepping inside is not just entering a structure, it is entering a system, a controlled chaos designed to preserve creation itself. And then you step in. The light changes instantly. Outside, the sky stretches wide. Inside, it narrows, filtered through a long opening near the top, what Scripture calls the window. It runs along the length of the Ark, allowing light to fall in soft, diffused beams. Dust floats in it, particles of hay, moisture in the air. The light doesn't illuminate everything. It reveals fragments, movement, shapes, life. You take a step forward. The floor beneath you is wood, thick, reinforced, slightly uneven from the weight it carries. It creaks faintly, not in weakness, but in response. Because everything here is under pressure, you begin to see the layout, not random, not chaotic, structured. Compartments line both sides, sections divided carefully, each holding different kinds of animals, not cages like a modern zoo. More like enclosures, spaces defined for containment, not comfort, and inside them, movement, constant. You hear hooves shifting against wood, wings brushing against confined air, low calls, sharp cries, breathing, always breathing. Every direction you look, something is alive. You move deeper, and the scale becomes overwhelming, because this is not a collection of animals. This is a representation of the living world. Pairs, groups, different sizes, different needs, different behaviors, and somehow, all of it is contained. You pass a section where smaller animals are kept. Rodents, birds, creatures that move quickly, nervously. Their energy fills the space differently, faster, lighter, but no less intense. Nearby, larger forms dominate, massive bodies shifting slowly, their presence felt through the floor. The space around them is tighter, reinforced, built to hold weight. Everything has been accounted for, everything has been placed, because nothing here can be left to chance. You begin to notice the rhythm. It's not quiet, it's not peaceful, but it is ordered. Not every sound clashes, not every movement disrupts. There is a pattern beneath the noise, a system holding it together. And at the center of that system are people. You see them moving through the narrow pathways between compartments. Noah and his family. They are not standing still, not observing. They are working, constantly, feeding, cleaning, managing, because this Ark does not function on its own. It requires attention, every moment. You watch as one of them carries bundles of hay, distributing it into sections. Another pours water into carved troughs. Another clears waste, removing what cannot remain. Because if anything here is neglected, everything begins to fail. You follow one of the narrow walkways. The space tightens around you. Wooden beams frame the structure above and beside you, reinforcing the massive weight. The ceiling is not high. It presses down slightly, reminding you that this place was built for containment, not comfort. And the deeper you go, the more intense it becomes. The smell thickens, the air grows warmer. Humidity rises, Because thousands of living creatures generate heat, moisture, breath, and all of it remains inside. You begin to understand something crucial. This is not a peaceful refuge. This is survival under pressure. Every moment here is active. Every system is working. Because outside, something is coming, and inside, everything must endure. You reach a section where birds are kept. The sound shifts again, higher, sharper. Wings flutter in confined bursts, feathers brushing against wooden barriers. Some perch, still and watchful. Others move constantly, reacting to the environment. The light from above catches them differently, highlighting movement, creating flashes of color and shadow that ripple across the space. And then, silence. Not complete, but sudden. You turn, because something has changed, and for a brief moment everything feels still, not because the animals have stopped, but because something deeper has entered the space. Awareness. Because this place, this structure filled with life, is not just holding animals, it is holding a moment, a transition between what the world was and what it is about to become. And you feel it now, that weight, that significance, that this ark is not just a vessel, it is a boundary between destruction and preservation, between judgment and continuation, and everything inside it is part of that line. You take another step forward and realize you have only just begun to see it. The deeper you move inside the ark, the more the outside world disappears. Not visually, you already lost that the moment you stepped in, but mentally, because this place demands all of your attention. Every sense is occupied, every direction holds movement, every moment requires awareness. You begin to understand something that isn't obvious at first. This ark is not quiet survival, it is constant management. You walk along a narrow passage again, and now you start noticing the details that make all of this possible. Storage, everywhere. Above the enclosures, between beams, along the sides of the structure, supplies are stacked, tied, secured. Bundles of dried vegetation, grain, seeds, containers carved from wood or clay. Everything measured, everything rationed. Because this journey has no resupply. What is here is all there is. You watch as one of Noah's sons distributes feed, carefully, deliberately, not wasting a single handful. The portions are not generous. They are sufficient, because they must last. And that changes everything about how this place functions. This is not abundance, this is precision. You move further and begin to notice another system at work. Water. It does not flow freely here. It is carried, stored, managed. You see containers being refilled from collected sources. Rainwater that has begun to gather, channeled from above through openings and simple systems that guide it inward. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is assumed, because survival depends on control, and control here is constant effort. You pause for a moment, leaning slightly against one of the beams. The wood is solid, thick, slightly damp to the touch. And that's when you feel it. Movement, subtle, but undeniable. The ark shifts, not violently, not dramatically, but enough, because it is no longer resting on the ground. The rain has begun. You didn't hear it at first, not clearly, because the sound inside the ark is overwhelming. But now, you notice it, a distant, steady drumming, water striking wood, relentless, unstopping. You look upward. The narrow opening near the top lets in light, but now something else. Drops, then more, then a steady flow. The rain is not gentle, it is not intermittent, it is continuous. And as it increases, the ark responds. It creaks, groans slightly, adjusts under the pressure of water gathering beneath it. And then it lifts, not suddenly but unmistakably. The ground is no longer holding it. You feel it in your balance. A subtle sway, a shift in weight, and in that moment everything changes, because now This is no longer a structure, it is a vessel, and the world outside is no longer stable. You move toward the center of the ark, where the structure feels strongest. The sound of the rain intensifies now, louder, heavier, constant. It merges with the noise inside, creating something overwhelming, a world of sound. You see the family reacting, not with panic, but with focus. This moment was expected, prepared for, but preparation does not remove pressure. It only allows you to endure it. You watch as they move faster now, securing loose items, checking enclosures, reinforcing anything that might shift. Because once the ark is fully afloat, everything inside must hold. You move past another section, larger animals again. Their behavior has changed. They feel it too. The movement, the instability. Some grow restless, shifting more, reacting to what they do not understand. And that energy spreads, because when one reacts, others follow. The noise rises, not chaotic, but intensified. You feel the tension building, because now survival is not just about resources, it is about stability. Holding everything together in a world that is no longer still. You make your way toward one of the inner supports, massive beams that run vertically, connecting the levels, reinforcing the entire structure. These are the backbone of the ark. Without them, nothing stands. You place your hand against one and feel it, the vibration, the pressure, the weight of everything being carried, and suddenly, you understand the scale of this moment in a way you didn't before. Because this ark is not just floating, it is holding life, holding order, holding a future that does not yet exist. And outside, everything is being undone. You move toward a small opening where you can glimpse something beyond, not clearly, but enough. Water, everywhere, not contained, not flowing in rivers or channels, but rising, expanding, covering. The land you stood on is disappearing, and that realization hits deeper than anything you've seen so far. Because it means there is no return, no stepping back, no reversal. The world has crossed a line, and the ark is now the only place where life continues. You step back into the interior again. The sound of animals, the movement, the heat, the pressure. It all feels heavier now because you know what it's up against, and then you notice something else, a pattern. Despite everything, the noise, the movement, the instability, the system is holding. The animals remain contained. The resources are being managed. The structure is intact, and that is not accidental. That is design. You begin to see it more clearly now. Every beam, every compartment, every decision in how this ark was built matters, because without that precision, nothing here survives. You look once more across the interior, at the layers of life stacked within this massive structure, and you realize something that changes how you see everything. This is not just a rescue. This is a reset, a complete preservation of possibility. Because everything that will exist after this is here, contained within wood, movement, sound, and breath. And as the ark continues to rise, carried by waters that do not stop, you feel the full weight of it, that the world as it was is already gone, and this is what remains. Time loses its shape inside the ark. There is no sunrise you can clearly see, no sunset to mark an ending, only light filtering faintly from above, and the constant unbroken rhythm of survival. Days pass, or what feel like days. But inside, time is no longer measured by hours. It is measured by cycles, feeding, cleaning, carrying, resting, briefly, then beginning again. You move through the ark once more, and something feels different now. Not quieter, but heavier, because the initial urgency has settled into something else. Endurance. This is no longer the moment of entering, no longer the moment of rising. This is the long middle, where survival is not dramatic, It is repetitive, relentless, necessary. You walk along the upper level now. The air here is slightly clearer, closer to the opening above, where light and fresh air filter in more easily. But even here, the presence of life is overwhelming. Birds line sections of the structure, some perched, some restless, some silent. Their movements have slowed. Energy is conserved because instinct has adjusted. Everything inside the Ark has adapted to this environment, not comfortably, but effectively. You look down to the level below. The animals are calmer now, not still, never still, but less reactive. The constant motion of the Ark has become normal. The sounds, the confinement, the rhythm, they are no longer new, they are life. And that is what survival does. It normalizes what once felt unbearable. You continue walking, and now you notice the people more closely. Noah moves through the space with a pace that is steady, practiced. There is no hesitation in him, not because this is easy, but because this is necessary. His family moves the same way. Each person has a role, a responsibility, and nothing here can be left undone. You watch as they work, not speaking much, not wasting energy, because words are not what sustain this place. Action is. You begin to understand something deeper. This Ark runs on discipline, not emotion, not inspiration, but consistency. Because if even one part fails, the entire system begins to break. You move toward a storage section again, and now the difference is visible. Supplies have diminished, not dangerously, but noticeably, because time is passing. And what was once abundance is now being measured more carefully. You see it in the way portions are handled, in the way nothing is spilled, nothing is discarded, because every resource here has a limit, and that limit is always approaching. You hear the rain again, still unstopping, but now it sounds different, less like something new, more like something that has always been there, because that is what prolonged pressure does. It becomes background. You move toward the edge of the Ark again, near a narrow opening, and this time you look longer. The world outside is unrecognizable. No land, no structure, no reference point, only water, endless, moving, carrying debris you cannot fully identify, fragments of what once was. And that realization settles deeper than before, because now there is no question. The world you knew is gone, not temporarily, not partially, completely. You step back again, returning to the interior, and suddenly the Ark feels different, not just as a place of survival, but as the only place where life continues. And that weight changes everything, because it means that every breath here matters, every action matters, every moment of endurance is preserving something that does not exist anywhere else. You sit briefly on a low beam, letting the reality settle. The sound of animals continues. The movement never stops. The air remains thick. And yet, there is something else now, something quieter, not silence, but presence, because despite everything, the pressure, the confinement, the uncertainty, this place is holding. And that is not just because of structure, not just because of design, but because it was meant to. You feel it now, that this Ark is not just surviving by chance, it is sustained, carried, not just by water, but by purpose. You stand again, looking across the interior one more time, and you begin to see something you didn't fully recognize before. This is not chaos being managed. This is order being preserved against everything outside, and that contrast defines everything, because outside, the world is undone, but inside, the world is held together. And that is what makes this place so extraordinary. Not because it is comfortable, not because it is peaceful, but because it endures. You walk slowly toward the center again, and as you do, you realize something that changes how you see this entire experience. The hardest part of survival is not the beginning, it is the middle. the part where nothing changes, where everything continues, where you must keep going without knowing when it will end. And that is where the Ark is now. Floating, holding, waiting, and as the waters continue, as time continues, and as life inside continues, you understand this is not just preservation, this is patience, on a scale no one inside fully understands yet, because the end has not come, not yet. At some point, the rain stops, not suddenly, not with an announcement, but gradually. So gradually that at first no one inside the Ark notices, because the sound of rain has been constant for so long that its absence feels almost unreal. You stand in the same space, the same beams, the same narrow pathways filled with movement, and something is different. The rhythm has shifted. You listen, and for the first time since stepping inside, there is a gap in the sound. The steady drumming above is gone. What remains is everything inside, breathing, shifting, low calls, soft movements. But the pressure from above has lifted. You look up toward the opening. Light still filters in, but now it feels clearer, less obstructed. And the air feels slightly lighter, not fresh, not clean, but changed. And that change spreads slowly through the Ark, not through words, but through awareness. Because even the animals begin to respond. Subtle at first, a shift in behavior. Less tension, less reactive movement, as if something they cannot see has changed. You move carefully toward the edge again, toward that narrow place where the outside world can be glimpsed. And this time, you look longer. The water is still there, endless, but it is different now, not rising, not violent, moving more slowly, settling. The surface is less chaotic, more stable, and that matters, because it means something has shifted beyond what you can fully see. The Ark continues to move, but not the same way. The violent lifting, the unpredictable sway, it has softened. Now it drifts, carried, not resisted. You feel it in your balance, in the way your body adjusts. The motion is still present, but no longer aggressive. You step back again, and for the first time, there is something new inside the Ark. Not silence, not peace, but something close. Relief, not expressed, not spoken, but present. Because survival is no longer at its peak intensity. The immediate threat has passed, but the journey is not over. And that is what makes this moment complex, because now begins a different kind of waiting. You walk again through the levels, and now the Ark feels older. Not in structure, but in experience. Everything inside carries the weight of what has already been endured. The wood is marked, the pathways worn, the air thick with the memory of everything that has happened within these walls. This place has held life through the unthinkable, and now it holds it through uncertainty. Because the question has changed, it is no longer, will we survive? It is now, when will this end? You see Noah again. Noah stands near the upper level, looking toward the opening, not searching for land, not yet, but watching, aware, waiting, because this moment requires something different than before. Not action, but patience. You feel it too, the slowing, the stretching of time in a different way, because when survival is urgent, time moves quickly. But when survival becomes waiting, time expands. You walk to a section where birds are kept, and now something changes again. One is released. It moves upward quickly, wings cutting through the confined air, then out, through the opening. Gone. For a moment, everything holds, because this is the first connection to the outside since the rain began. You wait. Everyone does, not actively, but internally, because that bird carries something more than itself. It carries possibility. Time passes, and it does not return, not immediately, not clearly, and that uncertainty settles because the outside world is still unknown, still unconfirmed, still unresolved. Another is released later, and this time it returns, carrying something small. A sign, not full restoration, not complete change, but enough. Because it means something is happening beyond the ark, something is shifting, and that matters more than anything else now. You feel it ripple through the space, not as noise, but as understanding, because this is the first real indication that what was lost is beginning to return. You move back toward the center, and now, everything feels different again. The ark is no longer just a place of survival, it is becoming a place of transition, between what was destroyed and what will be rebuilt. You look around one last time, at the animals, the people, the structure that has held everything together, and you realize something that reframes everything you've seen. This ark was never meant to be permanent. It was meant to carry, to preserve, to endure, until the moment came, when it was no longer needed. And that moment is approaching. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but steadily. And as the ark continues to drift on waters that are no longer rising, you understand the full weight of it, that everything inside is about to step back into a world that has been completely remade, and nothing will be the same again, because this was not just survival, it was a beginning, hidden inside an ending, and now, that beginning is almost ready to emerge.